stuff you full of a bunch of food on your launch you guys off on the season. Um, and anyways, we're believing for a great season this year. And I know y'all probably noticed your record for this year, so I want you to be thinking that way. I wanted to mention a couple people that came by. Pastor Palmer, right over here. He's up for the Assembly of God Church. And Terry Van Amper, correct? Yeah, he's from the Team Challenge. Does everybody know what Team Challenge is? Have you even heard of Team Challenge? Nobody? Okay, well anyways, what it is it's a program. Well Terry, why don't you come up here real quick? Can you come up here and share it real quick? He didn't know that. Anyways, just thinking it real quick though. I just want to share this with you guys. They're right down here in Old Gray's house, and it's a bunch of guys down there, and you might see guys coming and going, wondering what's going on. Well, I'm just going to share with you real quick.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
So T-Challenge is a program that's been around for 60 years, and we help men and women, boys and girls who have gotten themselves caught up in drug and alcohol addictions, and help them move away from that kind of lifestyle. So the guys you see on the site, they're over the ages of 18 years old, and they've dedicated the next 12 months to getting their life on track, not only learning to live soberly, but live in right relationship to God. We are a Christian organization, and we're really excited about being here in town. And one of the things that we do is we also provide education to the public school systems by going in and teaching about the realities of addiction, and maybe not the way you guys have ever seen it, not from a curriculum standpoint, but really from the level of guys that are just not much older than you, who got caught up in this whole world by making one bad decision off of a wrong perception about what that could possibly do to their life. So I'm looking forward to maybe having an opportunity to come and chat with you guys. Well, I've played sports my whole life, and unfortunately, addiction was one of those things that stole some years from me. So I'm very passionate about it. Looking forward to seeing how you guys do this year, and thanks again for letting me tell a little bit about Team Challenge. So thanks, Steve.
All right. Well, I really thank you, Terry. And I don't have time to get into it my own personal story, but I went to Estacada, and I got into addiction, you know, drugs and cocaine and a bunch of other things. But I've been connected with other programs very similar to Team Challenge, and really it's Christ-centered. And anyways, I reached out to God years ago, and He set me free from all of that. So that's a whole other story, but I'm a lot freer today, and I'm living a good life because of it. So anyways, I'd like to introduce you to Dave Morris. He's a great friend of mine. He's a pastor of Hillside Christian Fellowship in Clackamas, and I attended there for many years. And anyways, I just wanted to, he's been married for 31 years. He's got 2 boys, football athletes. Pastor Dave, he's got a wonderful daughter. 2 of them are married, and Dave went to PSU, played football. Something about Portland, not Portland, the Pittsburgh Steelers, is that right?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The 12 years starting lineman. No, just kidding. Okay, anyways, so he was a freshman coach for many years, varsity coach for many years, 12 years, all said and done. So anyways, I just wanted, Dave's going to share a little bit here. He's intimately involved in Clackamas athletics at all levels. They're a wonderful church, lots of young people, and anyways, you're going to love Dave.
Yeehaw. Thanks for hanging out and listening for a few minutes. Let's first give it up for Steve. He's the owner of Granny's, and he provided this food for you guys. That's a big deal. Huge supporter of Estacada sports and this community. It's awesome. So hopefully you'll be regular patrons. I can tell you by experience, their milkshakes here are worthy of being consumed. So get a large one, and you'll enjoy your afternoon, I'm sure. All right, before I go, I want to also introduce McKenna Schroeder. She is FCA area rep. She is an amazing young athlete, college athlete, graduate now, and she is all over in our Clackamas County and kind of beyond, and she is involved in the middle schools and high schools, and she runs what they call huddles on campus. And so if you want more information of FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you want to be in contact with McKenna. Now, I can tell you in my life, FCA has had an impact in my life since my junior year in high school, and that goes all the way back to 1980. Everybody say 1980. Not everybody said it. Everybody say 1980.
1980.
All right, that's all right. Okay, let's start with a couple of quick questions, and they're going to be 1980s kind of questions. All right. Something significant. This is for the 2-bar Milky Way. Something significant happened in the solar system and the atmosphere of Earth in 1981, and it was the first occurrence. Well, we may have almost lost the ozone, but that's not what the question was. But that's pretty good. That's good. Ozone question. Anyone want to go? Anyone? We put something up in the air for the very first time. Say it.
Satellite.
No. You had your hand up right here?
Space station.
You were going to say satellite maybe too? What about you? Come on, guys. It begins with space and ends with? Shuttle. Space shuttle. All right. One of you guys just catch this. That's good. All right. There you go, buddy. All right. Let's bring it down to something athletic. All right. This is a 1981 question. This is Butterfingers. It has nothing to do with receivers, but it's
Pittsburgh Steelers.
who can tell me? And I know some of you guys have smartphones, so get it loaded and ready to roll.
Oh, look at them all.
Who won the Super Bowl in 1981?
Steelers.
Oh, bro, if only, right? We do have 6 rings, but no, not the Browns. They're never going to the Super Bowl.
Cowboys.
No, not Seattle. Come on, someone.
Cowboys.
Who?
Steelers.
Raiders. Boom, the Raiders beat the Eagles. That's epic. All right, Babe Ruth or Baby Ruth. What's the question going to be about? Baseball, right? Okay, he says Baby Ruth. Come on. Babe Ruth. No, it's about baseball. All right, 1981. Who won the World Series?
Kansas City Royals.
Well, Yankees were in it. Oh, whoever said that? Dodgers. Come on, bro. Let's go. Los Angeles Dodgers. Man. All right. That's a good time. They beat the Yankees. It was the 3rd time these teams have come together in this contest of the World Series over a 5-year period. It's pretty amazing. All right. Payday. What do you think I'm going to ask a question about? Money. Yeah, it's probably going to be about money. Who knows what the minimum wage was in 1981? State of California. I think I don't even actually have the full number. Oh, 265, bro, you're on it. Bam, payday. I think I was making 275. All my buddies were working at McDonald's flipping burgers. I ended up going to work for my mom and dad, and check it out. Are you ready for this? At 16 years old, I was making $7 an hour. Come on, I was like the wealthiest dude on campus. That's epic. All right, I'm going to tell you guys what it was like for me at 16 years old in 1981. I think I might tell you a little bit about what it means to be 16 in today's arena. At 16, first, what was happening? Who can tell me who was the President of the United States in 1981? Who said Rockefeller? Ronald Reagan! Come on! That's right. He was January 20th, 1981, Ronald Reagan. What happened to Ronald Reagan in March of 81?
Got shot.
There was an attempted assassination on his life. Oh, that's some big news. Let's see, I told you about the Space Shuttle Columbia and its first launch. World Series, Raiders beating the Eagles. What about on the billboards, music-wise? Are you guys ready for 1981 music? I mean, for crying out loud, we were just listening to some 80s music, all right? Number 1 hit that went the longest on the billboards in 81. Anyone want to take a stab at it? Donald Trump. No, it wasn't. Now, are you ready for this? It was Olivia Newton-John. If you know who Olivia Newton-John is, raise your hand real quick. Yeah, okay. Most of you know. She was in the movie Grease like a million years ago, right? Yeah, she's that blonde guy walking around in a lot of tights. Anyway, all that to say, her number 1 song was a song, Physical. Let's Get Physical. I don't recommend you necessarily watch the video from 81, but I think she had leg warmers on. So anyway, how about this? How many of you have heard of the group Blondie? Yeah. Anybody heard the song "The Tide Is High"? Yeah. Well, that was on the billboards in the top. All right. Celebration. Some of you old guys remember Kool and the Gang? Anybody? Celebrate good times. Come on. Anybody? Anyone? There you go. That's what was playing. All right. Hey, here's one. U2. How many of you know the band U2? Come on, everybody here should know U2. They're like the #1 band in the world in my world. I'm not even sure there is another band except for U2 in my world. U2, come on, they had an epic single that came out and then an album. The song Gloria, or the song I Will Follow. Guys, you got to get these. I mean, it's good music. They're like one of the hottest bands to this day in my mind. Okay, 1981. Some guy by the name of Dave Morris got his driver's license. I'm still driving. I got no accidents. Dozens of tickets. No, I don't. Okay. Let's see. Let me tell you about my senior year in high school in football. You ready for this? All right, my high school, 4,000 students. Everybody say 4,000. Yeah, that's how. My graduating class was 1,000 students. I grew up in Huntington Beach, California. Everybody say Surf City. Right. Look at me. Ask if I ever rode on a surfboard. The answer is yes, I did. But only for about 7 seconds, and then I fell, and I was done with that. But I grew up in Huntington Beach, California, and at my school, 4,000 students. I went out for freshman football, and I was so good I quit by about game 5 because I never saw the football field. We had 2 teams. We had the blue team and the gold team. The blue team was the guys that were athletes. The gold team was the guys that like couldn't figure out what their left shoe and their right shoe were and which one to put it on. That's the team I was on, and I was 3rd string. And I was so bad, I mean so bad, that I just quit, and no one even pursued me. That's how good they thought I was too. But my best friend's dad encouraged me to go out my sophomore year. I went out for sophomore. We had 2 freshman teams, a sophomore team, a JV team, and a varsity team. And so we were just packed. I go out for the sophomore team. There's 100 dudes on the team. I saw the football field 2 plays. 2 plays my entire sophomore year. They finally decided, because a guy got injured and the coach turned around trying to find a replacement, he just grabbed me by the shirt, pulled me, and he said, "Morris, get in." I was playing outside linebacker. I absolutely had no idea what I was doing. Coach, I'm sorry. I had no idea. And we had a good outside linebacker coach. I knew how to get in the stance, man. I got in this really cool stance, and I was right here, and the tight end was lined up right on me. And I thought, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to, wherever he goes, I'm going to follow him. And so he came and he hit me, and I hit him. And then he started to go out in the flat, so I just followed him. The quarterback threw the football right to him. And I just stepped in front and caught the football and started running. I got like 14 yards, got tackled by about 5 dudes, and the coach thought I was genius. So he put me in at offense for 1 play, and then he yanked me off and he said, "Morris, you'll probably never see the field. I realize you don't know anything about football yet." So somehow I ended up going out my junior year. A light switch went on. I remember sitting, I got in a huddle, and so I'm in the huddle, and I'm playing on the offensive line, and the varsity team actually had these books, and they would have X's and O's and lines drawn, and they called the play, and every time they called that same play, the guy that I was playing did the exact same thing. And I had this light bulb moment. I mean, this is really, guys, I mean, like, you're going to think, how did you even graduate from high school? You're just like, you know, a few cards short of a 52 deck. Anyway, I realized, oh my gosh, every time they call that, I do the same thing. And so I just went off. Every time they called a certain play, I saw what I was supposed to do, and I started pile driving dudes. And the coach, on the varsity squad my junior year of one of the big 5 high schools in Southern California, coach came up to me and said, "Hey, Pascal's gotten hurt. If you work hard, you might start on the varsity squad." That was a big deal for me. Well, as things would have it, I worked hard. And I had started boxing, so I was working with the jump rope. I got really good feet. I got really strong. I was also a good fighter, so I was kind of scrappy playing football. And you know what? After my junior year, I was a first-team all-league football player in Southern California, and I thought, man, I've arrived. I mean, I legitimately thought I was big man on campus. My head
They had to get a new size helmet for my head because my ego was getting so big. I thought I was something. I was talking to colleges, Pac-10 back in the day, it's now Pac-12, but Pac-10. I was talking to Big Ten high school colleges, and I was thinking, man, I'm going. It's going. And I want you to know that whole time, just like Terry Van Antwerp said, and just as Steve said, alcohol and drugs became a big part of my life. So my senior year, I had no idea my dad was dying. He had cancer, and I didn't know it. Let me tell you how naive I was. I thought when people went to the hospital, they got well and came home and they continued to live life. I had no idea that when my dad went into the hospital, he would come home only for hours and then pass away. But just before that, my family planned a big vacation, and I didn't know what it was all about. But this, I mean, double days was starting, and I said, Mom, Dad, I can't go on the vacation. I mean, they need me. I'm on the team. And our first football game my senior year, we flew the whole team. Are you ready for this? Sorry, coaches. We flew the whole team to Hawaii. Come on, can I get an amen? That was pretty exciting. There was supposed to be a drum roll there somewhere. We flew the whole team to Hawaii. And we played Hawaii's number one team last year. They were the state champions in Hawaii, Castle High School. We played in Aloha Stadium. I mean, it was a big deal. Not only did we fly our team, we flew our cheerleaders, our drill squad, the whole 9 yards. I mean, at our school, they had flag teams. They had everything. You just name it. They made something up. They were like, hey, here, hold these fortune cookies and throw them at kids. And they win. I mean, it was crazy. So we go to Hawaii. We're there for 7 days, and we had our first game. And I didn't know that was the last vacation my dad was going to take with our family. Who knew? I didn't know that. And I missed it. And I was engaged in my own world because I was consumed with alcohol. I was consumed with all these other things that were unimportant in my life. But I want you to know something. We beat them 28-0. Come on. That's a big deal. We had an undefeated season up until our sixth game. Our sixth game, we played the number one team in the United States in that year. That was Edison High School in Southern California. Number one team. And we were winning to the last minute and 30 seconds. And their quarterback, Ken Major, when they got the ball back, 6'4", 220-pound quarterback. Who's your quarterback? Where's your quarterback? Yeah. 6'4", 220. Come on, right there. I mean, this guy was a beast. Anyway, he marched their team down in a minute and like 27 seconds and gets them within field goal range. We were beating them by 2 points. They kicked the field goal. They won the game by 1 point. It's our only loss the entire year. That was a great deal. Well, then my dad passed away. My family owned their own business. I mentioned that earlier. I was working for $7 an hour. And so I had some scholarship offers, but I had to say no because my brother had already gone away to Gonzaga University, and he was on the Commodore, the crew team up there. My sister was up at Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, and my other sister was at Fresno. And so I was the only one at home, and so I stayed home to help my mom. I didn't know anybody, so I went to a junior college. After my freshman year at my junior college, something radical happened in my life. Now I want you to know, by the time I was 17, 18 years old, I'd already been arrested twice. In fact, when I turned 17 years old, the old California driver's license, you could take a piece of yellow chalk and a sharp number 2 pencil and change the 64 from the year I was born to a 0, and it made me 21 years old. I could buy alcohol anywhere, so everybody came to me because I was a bigger guy. I had some facial hair, and so everybody wanted me to be their supplier, so I was the guy. I was popular on campus, not because of the person I was, but because of what I could do for other people. Does that make sense? Nod your head if that makes sense to you. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, let me encourage you today. Be you. Don't be what other people want you to be. You be you. You've been uniquely created. Be you. I didn't do that. I pleased the crowd. And it wasn't until after my freshman year in football that something radical happened. I came home one day and my brother was reading the Bible. Now my brother's 2 years older than me. He was home from school and he was reading the Bible. And I thought, Joe, what are you doing? He says, I'm reading the Bible. I said, bro, what is up with that? And he told me about a change in his life. And I spent the next 2 days, McKenna's got to leave. Everybody say bye, McKenna. Bye. Okay. So I'm reading them. I picked up the Bible and I began to read God's Word. And I asked my brother, I said, where do you go to church? And he told me a place called Calvary Chapel in Costa Mesa. And I went to church with my brother that Sunday, found out they had church Sunday night. I went to church Sunday night. And a couple of the guys I was playing football with in college saw me there, and they came to the weight room on Monday morning. They said, dude! Everybody say, dude! Dude! Louder than that. Dude! Dude! They said, dude, what happened to you? And I said, I gave my heart to Jesus. I gave my heart to Jesus. My brother told me that God says, Jesus said these words, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me, Jesus said. And I believed in heaven and I believed in hell, and I was pretty certain I was on the highway to hell. And I didn't want to go there. And I'd already lost my dad. And I knew how precious life was and how suddenly it could be taken. And the kind of life I was living, it could be taken pretty quick. And so I gave my heart to Jesus. I kneeled down on the floor and I said, Jesus, if you're real, will you come into my life and be the Lord of my life? And so I went to church and this guy said, dude, you were on our prayer list. So there were guys on my football team. One of them was his junior year for University of Arizona. He was the #1 tight end in the Pac-10 and I think in the United States until he blew his knee out. The guy was unbelievable. This guy, Gary Parrish, he was like, dude, you were on our prayer list. You were like on our unsavable list. We thought there's no way God could get a hold of this guy's life. And God radically got a hold of my life. Here's what I'm going to say. The next year I went and played my sophomore year. I'm 18 years old now. I gave my heart to Christ. I played that year. The business was doing good, and I got a scholarship offer to Portland State University, and God brought me up here to Oregon. I've been in Oregon ever since. I want you to know that I played several years of football after giving my heart to Jesus, and I was playing for an entirely new purpose, an entirely new reason. I wanted to glorify God in everything I did. I had lived my life for so many years, seeking my own, doing my own thing, disappointing my folks, disappointing people around me, and really just kind of screwing things up. Jesus came in and he gave me new purpose, and it gave me new passion, and so much so that I dedicated even my weightlifting. Coach, you have these guys lifting weights? I think that's really important. You guys should be lifting weights. I had milestones that I couldn't get past. I remember as a big dude, I was weighing in at about 295. I had a 50-inch chest, and I still couldn't press over 300 pounds. I'm like, this is terrible. And I gave it to Jesus. I said, Jesus, I just want you to help me in my weightlifting. And I dedicated myself in the weight room. Guys, I got my bench press up. By the end of my senior year, I was benching 420. And I was stoked about that. And it was great, and I gave God the glory. And I want you to know something. You guys, as young men, you can have a higher purpose and a higher person to dedicate even your athleticism that God has given to each of you, and give him the glory for all your athleticism. So I want to encourage you. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. And I just want to encourage you. I didn't do high school football right. I didn't do high school sports right. But I'm here as an adult now at 53 years old. After 10 years working in the steel industry, everybody say steel. Steel. Hers. That's how I get people to cheer for the Steelers. Yeah, I worked in the steel industry for 10 years and it was epic. But God called me into the ministry. So I went to Bible college in the evenings, raising a family, and launched out some 23 years ago. Did youth ministry for a number of years, and God called us to plant the church in Clackamas, and we've been doing that for the last 14 years. I just want you to know something. The adventure that we've been on in my life, the last 33 years, has been the greatest adventure since I gave my heart to Christ. And I want to encourage every one of you young men to consider your lives, to consider your purposes, consider your family, consider those things that you are engaged in, and consider eternal things. Consider eternal things. Think about your faith. Think about what you put your trust in. And my encouragement, and many that are here, and I know your coaches want to see you excel. They want to see you full out for your team, full out for your families, full out for your education. All those things are radically important, and you should be fully engaged in those things. I was sitting next to Coach Mott, and he was just telling me just some of his experience. Just so you know, I got to coach with Hargrave. Any of you guys know your principal of your middle school, Hargrave? Yeah, come on. He was my defensive coordinator for a couple of years. It was epic. You have coaches around you that absolutely love and are passionate for you and want to see you do well. When Coach Mott and I were talking, found out that he graduated from Barlow. His high school coach, his high school AD, Terry Summerfield. I was Terry Summerfield's left guard at Portland State for 2 years, my junior and senior year. So we've got some history, and it's good stuff. And these guys have passion for you to make right choices. So here's the deal. It has been said, a wise man learns from his mistakes. Anybody here ever make mistakes? Raise your hand if you make mistakes ever. Just check and see if you guys are perfect. This cat over here who's not listening, he's like, yeah, I'm perfect. No, we all make mistakes. A wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from somebody else's mistakes. Does that make sense? I'm gonna just tell you something. I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes. You know, one of the last conversations I had with my dad was when he picked me up from jail. And he sat me down and he said, Dave, I think you need to choose the friends you hang out with better. You know, the Bible says bad company corrupts good morals. And I was hanging, I was probably the bad company. Dudes were hanging around with me and getting themselves in trouble. That night, that last night we got arrested, 7 guys got arrested. And I'm the guy who kind of instigated the whole deal. Bad ideas. Learn from somebody else's mistakes. Make right choices. Make good choices. Okay? Does that make sense? Here's the deal. A wise man learns from his successes. A wiser man learns from somebody else's successes. I can tell you in my life, the greatest decision I've ever made in my life is to give my heart to Christ. You might think about that. You might consider your own faith. And I'm going to leave that with you. If you want to know more about that, I know Pastor Palmer's around. I know Terry's around. I know Steve's around, and some of these others who have faith. I saw Pastor Scott was here from the Baptist church just a little bit ago. McKenna, all those. Maybe you're here and you attend a church in this community. Encourage your friends. Be involved. Get involved in a huddle. Maybe start a huddle, an FCA huddle, right here at Estacada High. It could happen. Start a Bible study. Get involved. Engage. Does that make sense? Everyone said it. Nod your head if that makes sense. Make sense? Good. I don't have any more candy bars to give away, guys, so you got to stay engaged. I'm almost done. Everyone say hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, I know you guys got a busy schedule. Thanks for listening to me today. Thanks for actually being an encouragement to me today. And make solid choices. Make solid choices. Can we do that? All right, guys. Let's give it up for Steve as he comes back. Steve.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Good stuff, Dave. Okay, I've been thinking about what can I share with you guys just for the last 30 seconds of this thing, and there's 2 scriptures that really mean a lot to me, and I think it will to you too. And it's tied into your record this year. It says in the scriptures, "As a man thinks, so is he." So, like, as you see yourself, you'll actually go that direction, believe it or not. Like, do you see yourself as a loser? Or do you see yourself with a 12-0? Now, I'm not exactly sure what the record was last year or whatnot, but it's as you see yourself. I just want to encourage you guys to analyze that. And also, another scripture that comes to my mind, it's tied into that. It says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, when you're coming up against obstacles or breaking the 300-pound, you could tie into something that's more than just a natural. I'm telling you stuff, guys, that's real that I apply to my life. I have a businessman. We have grannies. I have a construction business. I'm telling you, all the time. I got a meeting later today, and and it's the biggest job we ever done. And I have a lot of experience in doing what I do, but there's a lot I don't know, and there's a lot in the future I don't know. There's circumstances that could arise, and it's serious business. There's lots of employees we have, and families, and just the customer. This is important, right? So I ask God for insight to make decisions right now that He knows in the future. Like, you could be on the field, and you could have an instantaneous decision. I want to go that way. And you may not even know it, but you could be led to succeed beyond just your own natural abilities, is what I'm trying to say, guys. So I just want to encourage you, as you think, so you will be. And always remember, when you're up against a complicated situation, or you're troubled, just know that God is always there. I mean, I don't care where you're at, what you did wrong. If you're in it, it doesn't even matter if it's your fault. It doesn't matter. I just want to encourage you guys. You can call, and He will answer, and He'll be there. That's all I'm going to say. He's worked for me for, I think I was thinking about it too, I've been for 30 years myself. So Anyways, is there anything else, Coach? Oh, yes. Okay. So what we got here for you guys, I want to, we're going to give you guys a gift certificate to Granny's, each and every person here. Okay, this is for $10. And we just want to be a blessing to you guys. It's kind of like my way of showing another way that I believe in you guys. That you guys are going to do great things this year. And another, we're going to get to see it somehow. But also, every game you win, this is going to cost me a lot. Everybody gets an ice cream. That week, you win Friday, you got from that Friday to the next Friday, you come by Granny's, you just say, I'm on the team, we'll write your name down, you get a free ice cream, okay? Does that sound like a good deal? Okay, so I'm expecting to have to up our ice cream. We're going to have to buy more cases of ice cream every week. I hope we give you guys a lot of ice cream. Okay, so I don't know how exactly we're going to get to see you. How should we do that, Coach? It has their names. Yeah, we come up here and just...
Before we go, let's give Steve and the Granny staff 3. Ready? Ready? Let's also give Dave 3 for a great speech there. Ready? Ready? Alright.
Okay. So you got an